Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your July 2024 forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see all of you. This month, we're changing things up a little bit. I'm beginning at the very end of the zodiac and working all the way up to Aries. I hope that you enjoy that change. It's been something that I've seen in comments for a while, so I do listen and I do read them. All right, as you might know, this can be used for sun, rising, and moon. It's going to help you with the next 6 to 8 weeks. I begin every reading with channeled messages, and the first thing that came through in dreams and meditation this morning was the sort of foundational shift that I saw. So first thing that came through in dreams was I was at this, it kind of looked like a construction site where something had been demolished. And so I just saw the foundation. I saw some of the cracks in the foundation that were still there. And then I also saw some things from the previous people that were living there, namely terracotta or clay pots. And they also were kind of cracked. And it kind of reminded me of that, old child's story of Humpty Dumpty, you can't put them back together again. Sometimes when things are broken or fall away or are demolished like this, it is basically a necessary clearing in our life. So if we abstract this a little bit and look at foundations in our life, it could be something like a relationship that falls away. There could be a job that ended, or if you were, if you retired, or if you were made redundant or laid off or anything of that nature. Sometimes things happen and it's not wholly or completely in our control, but in the end, we walk away from the situation feeling a sense of relief. A tower event, when it happens, is the universe's way of either pushing us to move into something healthier or just clearing something that we've been holding on to longer than we need to. So that's the first thing. Some of the Aquarius out there that are watching, you've been holding on to something longer than you need to, and now is a great time to release it. For the rest of you, this can just be, we can actually take it more at a literal level, and there may be things that need to be repaired in your life. So preventative maintenance here would be the key. So if there's something that you know that maybe it's, the roof needs to be fixed, there's a, tire on the car that you need to replace because the tread is gone, or you are just thinking, it's been a while since I changed the battery in the smoke alarm. Whatever the version of preventative maintenance is for you, this is the time to basically take advantage of this, this sort of call to attention, this warning sign. By doing so, you'll be able to avoid the tower because we're looking at this in advance. You have an opportunity to basically affect how your future is going to look. So those are two big messages that came forth with this. We could also take a look at other things in your life where you're starting to sense or feel the foundational cracks in them. It could be, someone in your life where you're just feeling like it's more difficult to spend time with them or to communicate with them. And again, it could be a friend. And it's just sort of like you're doing a bit of an audit energetically and thinking, is this where I need to be? Is this something that's worthy of my time and energy? The very final bullet it came to me as I was, gathering all of this for you today, and it made me feel really good about the tower sometimes because it is a liberating force. It doesn't feel like it when you're going through it, but the cool thing about a tower is when it's done, and then you can decide without any sort of fear of like, maybe there's something that I still need to do here. No, that's done. It's like a full stop, a period. So it helps you move forward. So you can be the agent of change. You can wait for the tower to happen. But my advice is get ahead of the curve a little bit here. So if you sense that there's something that needs to be fixed or adjusted, preventative maintenance is coming through. If you're on the heels of a major change, try to see the silver lining in that and focus on what's available to you. Because Spirit is conveying this, the change, the movement, whatever might have been lost, there was a higher purpose for it. It's not always easy to see when you're going through it. The next thing that I saw in dreams was a lot more fun to interpret. I saw someone handing you a diploma. And this can be figurative as well. This can be the universe saying, you just graduated a karmic lesson, something that you came to this planet to learn, or something that you volunteered to take on. So sometimes this is just learning your worth in a situation and standing up for it, finding your voice. It could be an end of allowing someone to do something that doesn't feel right. So I feel a lot of this is empowerment, basically. That's what I got when I saw that diploma. We can also take it at face value. It can be like the Three of Pentacles here, a chance for you to learn something new. This could be training, mentorship, an internship. This can also just be you deciding to learn something because you want to. And now the universe is saying, what's next? What are you going to do with this? Because doors are ready to open if you're ready to put it into action. For those of you that are writers or have an idea, this can also be about sketching it out, putting it into a blueprint, or getting some sort of a copyright or patent for that as well. And ultimately, the Three of Pentacles also has to do with recognition. So necessary, and I would also say positive change is underway, and there's a chance for you to basically learn something new or to get much deserved attention for the hard work that you've been putting in. So let's go ahead and shuffle the cards, Aquarius, and see what else is coming through in the month ahead. Close your eyes if you will. Let's welcome in all of the Ascended Masters, the angels, and the spirit guides that need to come through this month for your highest good. Clear your mind, if you will, and just focus on receiving. All right. Thank you and welcome, everybody. Good to see you. While I'm shuffling and as I do this reading, let me know what you're working on. Let me know what that big shift might be that I was picking up on for you. I selected a black and white deck here today because I think it's a nice way to deal with potential challenges or shadow energy that I was picking up on with the Tower. And don't worry, there'll be plenty of cards that show color and vivid imagery as I do the expanded forecast. For now, I'm going to be quiet and focus on receiving. So much change coming through in these cards, and I do have colorful ones, but it is definitely more black and white that's coming through. So interesting. I follow my intuition when selecting the decks here. Okay, let's get everything lined up. We're going to begin. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so we have a double catalyst. I didn't even see it until we pulled these here. The first of the two cards is Chaos. The second one is Sulfur. Both of these are going to help you make a necessary change or movement in your life. Let's start off with the Chaos card. So as I looked at this, as I touched the card, actually, I felt a solar plexus activation. A pain in my stomach, basically. Sharp and brief and energetic only, and it's gone now as I'm talking about it. But when I'm thinking about what it's coming from, for some of you, this is a really close relationship. To me, this strikes me as a loved one, a lover, or maybe even a parent, someone that has intimate knowledge of who you are and with whom it's difficult sometimes to create necessary boundaries and speak up. They could be here on the planet or in spirit, and you're still doing some work. I feel like the umbilical cord between you and this person, for some of you, it is parental, mother or father. It's kind of like it's a separation later in life. For some of you, it's the connective threads because we have a spider web on the side. So this is the entanglement that others have created to pull you into their drama, to sometimes use things like guilt or anxiety to kind of like control you. So you're liberating yourself from that. It's falling down. The tower is not always something that you have to fear. It's a necessary change that spirit creates for you. So some of you are going through the necessary release. It's something to be celebrated. It is uncomfortable though. I want to validate that. Initially, when I was talking about it, I was like, I have to say this so that the pain goes away because I am a medium in a channel and I have to say it before I release it. So once I said it, the pain is gone. I feel normal. But for just a brief second, it felt either like a fire, like the sun putting out a solar flare, or a sword in my stomach. It was hot, it was sharp, it was intense, and then it was gone. So that might actually even mirror what the conversation or the experience will be like. A quick sort of inflaming moment and then a sense of like, okay, that was how it was supposed to go. It's done. So however it comes out, whether you are cool, calm, and collected or things are kind of messy, like the center part, it's okay. This is also a void here. Like, so this is once something falls away, there's a space that's left. Now I feel an activation on my crown chakra. And so for some of you, you start to worry. Take a breath. You start to worry that like, well, it's like, what's going to happen next? How did I get like, so I want to just encourage you to be present in the moment. Your key to success this month is observing what the other person or people are doing, observing what's happening around you, also seeing what doors are opening. So we know one door is probably going to close, but one or more may open. Let's look at the whole picture. And remember, some of those pieces that were broken or stranded, they're meant to, it's done. All right. I think I've also said everything that I need to on this. It's a great month to get organized. If there's things in your life that are chaotic, whether that's your schedule, your finances, your emotional situations, or going back to everything that I talked about at the beginning, there's like preventative maintenance that you can do on anything. Get that sorted out. And we've talked about this as much as we need to. Trust how you, like sulfur stinks. Let's just talk about that. If you've ever smelled it, it doesn't smell good. And it's pungent. It's right there in front of you. If something doesn't feel right, if something stinks energetically, don't move forward in it. Whether that is a contract in marriage or in a job or in a career or anything, say no to that. If something smells fishy, I mean, we have a lot of these sort of turns of phrases in everyday language, but if something doesn't smell or feel right, I would love for you to follow your intuition on that and do some investigation or just say no or move in a new direction. Sulfur comes through to awaken us, to help us pay attention. So something may fall apart, something may awaken your senses. Both of these are for the better. And sometimes this has to happen so you can see this. It was hidden. I didn't even see it when I picked it up until I went to pull it to the camera. So something needs to be brought to attention. The sulfur card is in reverse, so there could be someone that's trying to gloss over it. It's kind of like if you've ever been in like a store or something where they have, they try to spray some sort of a fake scent to mask something and it just makes it worse. So even if someone tries to hide something, it's going to come to the surface. This is a blessing, Aquarius. Necessary change, the clearing and sort of ability now to see something for what it is. And now the choice is, what do you want to do? And then to focus on the doors that are opening. And that leads us into the spread in front of us. Let's just take a moment to scan all of the cards before we go into a card by card breakdown. So we have an ace, an opportunity here. Ace of Pentacles, a 10 of Pentacles, partnership. So out of this comes something good. There are some challenging cards here in like being overworked for some of you. We see love and support coming through. Most of it's pretty good, actually, as I'm looking at the spread. So the trickiest cards actually were at the beginning, and that's a good thing. Let's see, this is health, wealth. There's some changes for some of you in finance because we have the scythe here, which is connected to death. So there's something changing with finance, with school, with wealth, with something in that nature, and we'll look at that in a moment. Also, you're seeing through any trickster behavior here because we've got Loki. So we'll talk more about that later. All right, we're going to go to the center, the Hermit. So the Hermit always represents inner wisdom, knowledge, and I talked about, for some of you, you might be going back to school, getting some training, etc. This is just validating that path. What it's saying, though, is you may not have as much to learn as you think. An upright hermit is encouraging you to do that. The reversed hermit is basically saying you don't have to spend as much time as you think researching, learning, etc. So know when enough is enough, and then get back into it. This is a call to come out of your shell. So taking the educational piece out for a second, and then in fact, we're going to contrast it here with the original version in Rider-Waite-Smith. We see someone here who is in their own world, but they're holding the star in this lantern. So all of this preparation, the research, the inner sort of meditation and getting to know oneself, this is so that when you come out of your shell again, you come out with a sense of confidence, grounding, knowledge, and you're willing and ready to share it. So I just see that on the horizon for you. And the message that I got when I looked at this one is you're closer than you think, or it's going to be easier this time. For those of you that are maybe going back and finishing something or going back to school, This time around, it's going to be a lot shorter and easier because you have life experience. And it's also just a call to share your experiences with others. So this doesn't have to be going to school. This can be your life experience. For those of you that might be writing a memoir, or you might be doing a sort of inspirational speech, you could be telling other people, this is what I went through, this is how I managed it, and maybe it will be helpful for you to hear this from someone going through a similar situation. Okay? All right, crossing this is an opportunity, Ace of Pentacles. Look at how beautiful this illustration is. We can see something wonderful growing out of this seed or opportunity, and we can see the person connected to this as well. So your intuition, your idea, the spark that you have right now, inspirationally, please follow up on it. An ace is only as good as your follow through. You've got to nurture it, especially an Ace of Pentacles. It needs to be watered. It needs to have attention paid to it. So yes, invest your time wisely and know that it has the chance to grow into the 10 of Pentacles. So I see something with great potential, great potential. In fact, you've been working really hard. We're just going to take a look at the triptych of cards here in the center. A little bit of glare, so let me turn this down. There we go, so you can see it a little bit better. So hard work, as illustrated by the Five of Wands, a lot of internal knowledge and integration with the Hermit, and then this seed that you've planted that grows into that. The hard work is paying off, all right? Let's go a little deeper into the karma of everything here. We have the Page of Pentacles. So I can see the growth. I can see the movement here. It's about picking it up for some of you. So I do think that some of you are going back to an unfinished project or some unfinished business, and this is the time to do that, absolutely. So let's look at this card. Karmically, Page of Pentacles reversed. In the upright position, a page is communicating. In a reversed position, it could be inquiring. So we were talking about finding your power, finding your voice. Some of you may be starting to speak up a little bit more when it comes to finances. You might ask your partner, why did we spend this on that? You might be going to get some training or education so that you understand how to invest your money better. You could have a difficult conversation perhaps with an employer where it's sort of like, why am I getting paid less than this person or the industry standard? We need to rectify this, etc. Whatever it is, this page has the key. We can see the key right there. And we can actually see the knight in the background. So things will happen quickly. I can see that. So all that it takes sometimes is a communication of interest, an inquiry, or even just saying, hey, I need this, right? All of that will start to bring movement and, in many cases, resources into your life. This is also just a chance for you to develop or invest or focus on personal growth. So you're deciding to take something here, maybe this is hard-earned money and resources, and say, you know what, I want to take care of myself, I want to learn something, I want to do this. So you could also just decide to invest in yourself. All of this is wonderful, and I think one of the reasons that it's coming through as we look at recent past, some of you are just fatigued. The Five of Wands can show this sense of feeling like you're on the hamster wheel and nothing's kind of moving forward. I do like that this is an unusual Five of Wands where we actually see two birds helping each other, potentially the lovers that are coming through here. I've found that in some of the most challenging school, work, or even just interpersonal situations, you can make a fast friend, someone who you keep in touch with for years because you got through something difficult together and you had each other's back. So some of you may just make a friend in an unlikely situation, and this could be something really powerful for the future. We're not just talking lovers sort of energy, like bestie friends here, BFFs. So that's good. I like that. The Five of Wands in reverse is also basically saying there's a better way, and you may have to show people that, cooperation and collaboration are better than competition. You can see some of that here in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. There's just a lot of unnecessary and even duplicative energy that's going through. Oftentimes this is coming through because there's just a lack of leadership, so everyone's just trying to be seen and heard. It's kind of like a bunch of kids that just want attention. So making sure that there's good leadership. The next in this suit is the Six of Wands. leadership is everything. So you could step into that leadership role, and it begins with just you and another person, just saying, hey, I think we could work together and get this done faster. And then maybe that person will work with someone else. It's like a chain reaction happening. As you look at new opportunities in your life, particularly if you're looking at a new job or a new relationship, because all of these require reciprocity, really look at the culture, look at how that person approaches collaborative and cooperative opportunities, and just make sure it's a match for you, okay? In the crowning position, we have the Knight of Wands. The card is reversed. As I'm picking this card up, I got the solar plexus activation one more time. And what I'm picking up on here is keep an open heart and an open mind. Some of you are very intent on something happening at a certain time, in a certain shape, in a certain form, etc. And the universe has maybe got an upgrade, something better for you. But if you're only looking in one direction, or if you kind of have blinders on, it's hard to recognize it. So in the crowning position, it's kind of like this little sprite or flame or something dancing in his hand, this inspiration. And he can kind of play with that passion or that inspiration. But if it's reversed, it's harder to be able to kind of be creative and open to what the universe wants to present. So keep an open heart, keep an open mind, and also when you're engaging with someone, let go of preconceived notions. We even did it when I held the deck in my hands. I said, let go of what you expect to see, just allow whatever needs to come through, or at least that's mentally what I said. I try to verbalize it whenever I can. I keep getting, even as I'm talking, solar plexus. So it's about control, creative control. So if there's something that you need to do, maybe this is contractual, just make sure that you, I guess maybe before you express or share your thoughts, you want to make sure that there is protection of your intellectual property. I'm all for that. But when it does come to just partnership and other things in your life, little give and take. Find where you're comfortable letting go of a couple things so that, decide what you want to fight for. That's what I'm trying to say. And the other stuff, maybe there's some wiggle room there because it's a team effort. There's give and take. We want it to look more like this where you're building something wonderful and less like this where everybody has to get their way. Leadership often is about finding the middle ground and helping people work together. And I really do think you're going to be able to do that, particularly as we look at the next card here, the Ten of Pentacles. Together you are stronger. The next two cards are all about partnerships. So we have the Lovers here, we have the Ten of Pentacles here, but we have this beautiful handshake that's going on. So let's just read it as it is first. The Ten of Pentacles can represent new job, can be marriage, it can be a very favorable partnership. And look at this illustration. We see a stairwell leading up into this tree of life here with all of the pentacles on it. We see friends, family, partnership, love, children, this sort of ability for something to really grow and even be a legacy type thing where it can be passed on to the future. So exciting stuff is at play here. If you're looking for a job, if you're looking for a relationship, if you want to launch something, and now is the time, that's one thing. And if it didn't work before, remember what I said, this time it's easier. You're going to be able to build off of the learnings and the knowledge, and you don't have to go through all of the sort of struggle next time around. So I don't know why in this day and age we have such a negative perception of not succeeding the first time around. I'm trying to not use the word failure, but let's just say it. Like if you fail once, you can use that as a springboard and you can do even better the next time because you know what didn't work. Failure is not a failure if you learn from it. It's just a step that gets you closer to success. So I feel like many of you, you can do this and you can do it better through the support of someone else. Partnering up this month with a friend, with an advisor, with a business partner, all of that is coming through. There could be a proposal for some of you. Again, this could be in marriage or for a job. So I'm acknowledging that something was difficult in the past, that chaos here. It's been an interesting 6 months leading up till now, but it feels like now everything is starting to shift in a better sort of trajectory. So keep on keeping on, Aquarius, and know that things are looking up here. This can actually, interestingly enough, be a new house, like purchasing a house. It can be an upgrade in pay. The Ten of Pentacles is good, no matter how we look at it. It's a grounding card, it's a resource card, and it's a community card. We can see the people in this. Interestingly enough, the Tree of Life is a part of this. Now we see the intertwined trees here on the Lovers card. I love this illustration. It's showing strength in partnership. Some of you maybe are just fiercely independent. We have that Hermit at the center. So you've proven to yourself and to others that you can do it alone. You have this capacity to stand up and make it work, but now is the time where your partnership, your collaboration, your connection to others not only is maybe something on a heart and soul level that you've been waiting for, but also possibly even signed up for. This is the time to really allow for someone to kind of have your back so that you can focus on something bigger, better, brighter. It's allowing you to get into your eventual like Emperor and Empress energy as well, okay? And before we move on to the next card, I just want to highlight that this is one of the angelic cards, or basically spirit-driven cards in the major arcana. So if there is a partnership that comes forth now, it looks highly valuable. And also if you just feel that good sense of connection with this person, this is a great time to allow yourself to be in that energy. We see something here that has the potential to last. Let's take a look at what's going on around you. Well, first and foremost, many of you are super busy. The Four of Swords, when reversed, is the antithesis of the original card, which is basically rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation. And when you don't give yourself an opportunity to do that, you miss out. You miss out on being able to sometimes see an opportunity or seize an opportunity just because you're exhausted. So if there's someone around you that's making an unrealistic sort of like demand to your time and energy, and it's anybody in your life could be making this, the simple thing to do is just say no. And what's coming through very, very clear from guides and spirit is just to say no unapologetically, but not in a way that is sharp or anything. Just say, that's not possible, but I can do this. Or if you like this, I have to, you can start to kind of like lay out the, whatever it is, the tapestry. Or you can simply say, no, I'm overwhelmed right now, or I'm busy. But no, sorry, you don't have to apologize for a boundary. That's the takeaway here. So whatever way you want to communicate it, that's up to you, Aquarius. But it's time for a break. And there's something around you where it just feels like it's too much, too often. And this is the month where it's kind of like the straw that breaks the camel's back. If we look at the traditional card, there's one more message that comes through, and that's closure. You have a chance this month to once and for all put something to rest. So some of you, this could just be the process of grieving and release, and we start to see you turning a corner here. And for some of you, it could also simply be that by saying no, by having boundaries and putting a line in the sand, you're also ending a cycle where you were giving more than you needed to. It's a chance really to create the necessary boundaries, okay? So what's coming through in hopes, fears, and opportunities? We see some positive movement when it comes to financial growth and possibly even recovery. If you've been working on basically maybe some physical therapy, trying to heal something, also emotional healing. The main thing that you want to keep in mind here with the Seven of Pentacles, a little bit easier to see in the traditional illustration, is that patience is key. And we just had the balance energy in the Six of Pentacles where, you know, discernment and making good choices is important. Let's continue to carry that into this. So be patient and don't overextend. And we can see this person here wishing things would happen just a little bit faster. But what we can see in this illustration is you can't force the sort of development, the healing of certain things. And it's kind of like taking, in this case, bread or cake or something that you're cooking out of the oven too quickly. If it's not done, it's not going to be something that you can enjoy. Allow for things to take as much time as they need to when it comes to growth and development, okay? Give yourself the time and space you need to heal and to recover as well. But ultimately, this is a decent card when we're looking at finances. It's just a matter of making sure that you're not trying to please everyone and that you observe your own limits. That's also one of the reasons I said if there was any chaos in your sort of general, your accounting, this is a chance to really figure out where you stand, what your goals are, and if there's anything maybe where you can create more efficiency. That's going to take some of the stress off you as well. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the outcome here. And in the outcome, we have the Page of Wands, and that's great. It's in the upright position. So we see you toward the end of the month being able to deliver something. If you're working on a project or a goal and you're wondering, can I take it to the finish line? Yes, you can. The page here has something that she's ready to share. This is also a great card for collaborating, listening, communicating, and in particular, communicating an idea. So this is 1 month in particular where if you have something worth sharing, you should. And if you need a partner in that communicating process, you can do that. We have Ten of Pentacles, which has partnership energy, and then we have the Lovers here. So you may be working with one or more people that can help you say and do what you need to say and do. And then we see more things moving here. This is a very connected and fluid card. And so keep the lines of communication open, keep listening, and good things will continue to flow through this month. The main thing here is just getting necessary rest and taking care of yourself. This is a great segue into the next portion of the reading, the expanded forecast, where we take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the health energy, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Let's take a look at the oracle card for health. Courage and bravery. That's why I was feeling it in the solar plexus so much. So I actually feel for some of you, this could just be asking a question or saying something to maybe even a healthcare professional saying, I don't understand this, or I'm not ready for this, or I need a second opinion. It's really important before beginning something in your own sort of health journey to get all of the information necessary and to feel very much informed. So if you're not informed, then speak up. That's one thing. This is also about the necessary boundaries in your life. So we looked at those of you that are feeling exhausted because of the Four of Swords that was reversed. So you could just be simply pushing back and saying, I can't continue to do that. It's not sustainable. It's not easy sometimes to be able to speak up. And if you need support in the form of a friend, of a colleague, or a counselor, that's what we're seeing here with that Ten of Pentacles and with the Lovers card. You don't have to do this alone. So the most important thing is facing something that could be even a little bit frightening. So the other thing here, courage and bravery. Let's say you know that there's something that needs to be dealt with, something that might even be wrong in your health, and you're afraid to go to the doctor. Because of these partner cards here, take someone with you. When my dad was sick a long time ago, my mom and I would go with him to appointments, just so he didn't register. If he came out of the appointment later, he'd be like, yeah, it was all good. And we're like, there were some things that needed to be dealt with. So we had to start accompanying him so that the doctor would get the right information and we would also know what to do to take care of him. So sometimes you're just overwhelmed and it's kind of like you're not hearing it, or it can create stress. So if you need help, use it. It's good. That's what friends and family are for. And if you have questions after an appointment, call and get a breakdown. Sometimes I will even ask when I go, can you email me that, or can you send it to my other, especially if it's like a referral or you're working with different doctors, say, can you give them a copy of that so that I can talk to them too? That way you're making sure that nothing gets lost in the translation. All right, let's now, actually one last thing before we move forward. I felt a lot of solar plexus activation. So for some of you, what could be going on is digestive issues because it's right around the stomach, cramping. If you're working out, could also be cramps from labor or menstrual cycle. There's so many organs around the stomach that obviously if you're going through anything, definitely talk to a doctor on that. But I felt it right around the solar plexus. So that's one area that you might want to check out. All right, for everybody else, let's see what's going on here. All right, so sleeplessness or fatigue or lack of quality in your sleep. So if you know the cause and it's just that you're working too many hours and not getting ample sleep, that's what you need to deal with it before this goes into like something like the Ten of Swords. If you're sleeping but feeling not rested, there could be a hormonal imbalance, there could be sleep apnea, there could be other things at play, so you want to talk to your primary physician. Something around sleep isn't where it needs to be, and that affects everything in our life, so that's an important component, and that came through like loud and clear. Recovery, some of you have maybe gone through elective surgery, or if you're dealing with mending, healing after something like an injury. Seven of Pentacles shows you're going in the right direction, but you don't want to overextend. And if we go back to this card, we can see the impatience here. Got to take care of yourself one step at a time, one day at a time. Overall, it's actually a pretty good month health-wise. I see support, I see resources, and it's mostly not sort of pushing yourself to the limit. That's the key thing. And then I picked up, like I said, just on power struggles and solar plexus issues. But other than that, things are looking okay here. If you need to get a second opinion, the Hermit can represent that as well. Knight of Wands in reverse, because we're looking at wands, it could also be, for some of you, I'm just getting concentration. Either you're fixated on one thing and it's hard to let it go, or it's difficult to concentrate. Feels like it's pressure or stress related. Let's go ahead now and transition into the energy of wealth. This is your resources, life purpose, and career. Change. Change is the name of the game here. So we have the Scythe. This of course is associated with the angel of transformation, death and rebirth. So we're seeing cyclical movement when it comes to where you're at in your life. With your money, with your career, with your life purpose. You're feeling either an awakening or the sense that you're done with something. And it's normal. Sometimes it comes in a cycle of 7 years. Sometimes, it's just 6 months and you're like, enough is enough. Because this card here shows me that something could be coming to a very punctuated and quick close. And that's because you've learned what you needed to learn. I think that's one of the messages here really is, it's kind of like when you invite company over and they outstay their welcome. There's sometimes we stay longer than we need to in certain situations. So when it's done this month. And rather than fighting it, focus on what you want and where you can go next. Let's break this down into 3 categories: those in a job, looking for work, and then students and retirees. Focusing first on those in a job. There's actually something new coming through. This change could be very welcome. Ace of Pentacles can be an opportunity placed on your plate. So if you're in an existing job, I mentioned here there might be a chance to step into a leadership role. This looks good. 10 of Pentacles, very auspicious when it comes to money and contracts. The Lovers, what we're seeing here is your team-oriented approach towards things is paying off. Your people skills. People like the way that you work with others. Focus on that. That's the key to success. And also partnering up. Like maybe you're working on a project together and the team itself is actually elevated and there's more opportunities as a group. It doesn't have to just be an individual thing. The areas where you're really standing out this month, we have a couple of pages and a knight here. So we have Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. So taking something and really bringing it to the finish line. So it's not just about brainstorming, but it's also execution. It feels like you can do both, or if you're in a great partnership that the two of you know how to delegate and like good division of labor here. So teamwork skills, ideation, and then coming in, this could be like on time and under budget. All of that stuff I'm picking up on here. Here's some of the challenges. I really wish that I was seeing something beyond knights and pages. I want to see some kings and queens for the kings and queens that you are, Aquarius. So some of you may be either under-recognized or underutilized when it comes to the leadership potential. And that could be where you're having that conversation, like I said, the difficult conversation. And you want to look at really working with someone that you trust and making sure that you're putting into like a blueprint or a plan long-term goals. It does feel like you can get there. It just may take longer than you think. Again, self-care is necessary. You don't have to carry the load or the weight yourself. Make sure you're working with other people and that this is a team effort. That's going to be really important. It looks good. I have to say it looks good. Some of you may just have one foot out the door and you're thinking to yourself, I'm done. Here's the thing. I do think it's important to finish what you started to make sure that you also leave a nice clean slate when you decide to move. So if you're in that energy, this is just confirming that. But for everyone else, there's a chance to step into more partnership. And I think in the future, really focus on getting above the page and try to kind of, if you want a leadership role, now is the time to speak up so that people know that you're interested. Right now, I just see great team cooperation. You're a good team player. You're bringing a lot to the table. I would love to see a little bit more abundance here in the future, and maybe a little bit more leadership. And so if that's what you want, you have to raise your hand. That's kind of what we were talking earlier about what the page would say when reversed. This is what I have. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I've done as a partner here. How can we bring this to the next level? Okay. Pretty good across the board. All right. If you're feeling stuck, there is a chance to try new things, but it does require communication. And I'm looking here, we have swords cards here, but like not, it would be great to have a page of swords here. So there's demonstration and communication in a different way, but this may be where you're getting out of your comfort zone and having to just have a face-to-face or a heart-to-heart. Try to keep it in that sort of, this is a very loving and very kind conversation, so that I'm not getting confrontation at all. I just think sometimes speaking from the heart is key. It's pretty good. I think things are good when we're looking at those in a job. If you are 1 foot out the door, let's go ahead now and look at those that are job seeking. This can be in a job and looking, or unemployed and looking, or recently graduated and looking. It's just looking in general. So here's what I see for all of you. There is a lot of people there are a lot of people that could be vying for the same position. It is a matter of networking. It's who you know. There may be some favoritism in who's selected. Some of the jobs that you're applying for, I feel like they have internal favorites, or it may go to someone that just knows someone. So if you're feeling frustrated, not hearing back, Four of Swords can be that. It can be like crickets. The reverse of this card is saying, don't force it. I think it's good to have a follow-up. Always follow up and say, thank you for the interview, or thanks for considering me. But a lack of communication is a form of communication. So what you can work on instead is creating networks, looking for places where the receptive energy is there, and maybe exploring things outside of what you've been doing. This is a chance, because we have death, we have change, to basically say, all right, I've already done that. I'm not seeing a lot of traction or movement there. What harm would come from me trying something different? None. The shortcut answer there is it's actually good. It's advantageous to try new things. Is it scary? Sure. Is it really exhilarating? Yes. Speaking from experience, I've done it 3 or 4 times in my career, including what I'm doing right here, right now. I left a stable job to come here and work with all of you because it felt right, because I wanted to do it, and because I knew I couldn't stay one more moment in what I was doing. So this works for those that are employed and those that are seeking it. If you're on a path and you're like, I've done it, I've done everything that I need to, or I'm not moving forward, the universe is saying, try something different, try something new. The energy that I'm seeing movement around, if we look at 10 of Pentacles here, it's on the heels of this innovative card. So somewhere where you could be more creative, where you could share your ideas, where you could try something different. Way back in the channel messages, I mentioned public speaking. Maybe some of you want to go back to school because I picked up on the diploma piece. We can go straight with spirit-oriented messages there. Absolutely. Maybe you want to work in academia as well, work in a school. I think the key thing here to focus on is when it comes to negotiating, 7 of Pentacles is okay, but I think you have the potential to go further. So make sure that you're really laying out why you're worth it. Do the homework so that you can have that compensation conversation. Can you find work? You're tuning in and you're asking me that. I think it could take a minute or two. For those of you that are watching, it could be like 7 to 10 days after this. It could take up to a month. Part of this that will help is just to change it up. I think the advice here is don't do what you've been doing. Try something radically different. It can be a repackaging of your skills in a new form, but allowing yourself to stretch a little bit, or to go maybe even, whether it's geographically or again, maybe even in a different field, just to shake it up. That's going to be the key to success. The Ace of Pentacles here and the Page of Pentacles could also be picking up on a lead that you didn't follow up on before. Maybe because you weren't ready, or you kind of got in your own headspace and were wondering, can I do it? Reach out again. There's a second chance for some of you. If you said no or passed on something, they may still be looking, or there may be something else that's available, not exactly the same. So reconnect with some of those things in the past where the timing was off, but you're still interested. Let's turn the attention now to students. Ten of Pentacles, networking and relationship building. So while you're still in school, do everything you can to forge valuable, and these are going to last in the future, but valuable relationships. This comes from internships. It can be your teacher, your advisor, your classmates. Nowadays, it's so much easier to keep in touch because you can add them on the social media of choice, whatever it is for you. But no matter what, try to get the contact details and keep in touch. Do as many things as you can right now, whether it's a student organization, a professional organization, or an internship, to make these connections, because when you graduate, you will have people that value your knowledge, your hard work, and they're going to think of you first when opportunities open up. So the first thing that I'm getting, doesn't matter if you are still a student or just graduated, it's to either forge those relationships or lean into them. That's going to help you wherever you are in your journey. Some of you want to change or alter your major if you're still a student. Maybe it's because you just didn't like the organization of the program, or you feel like you're lost doing this. Talk to someone. It's okay to change. This is the time to make those sorts of shifts and moves in your life. Ultimately, once you do that, it feels like things are going to land in a good place. I think otherwise, aside from this potential change card here, which could represent either graduation or changing the major, things look good. They look solid. I'm not seeing a lot of problems. Four of Swords in reverse, take care of your health. I am encouraging you to network, but obviously not at the expense of school or sleep. So find the necessary balance in your life. That's the next card as we're looking at love. But, here in your own sort of self-care, I think it's going to be key. And I just see a lot of great people and a lot of good wisdom coming through. So you picked the right place. Just a little bit of reorganization or direction is all that's needed right now. Retirees, you're looking at things now with a different lens. You're thinking to yourself, I've been through a lot. I've paid my dues. And with what time remains, I want to really be discerning and picky. You earned that. Absolutely, yes. You don't have to spin your wheels or waste your time or explain yourself to anyone. Here's where, if we look at near future and opportunities, some of you might be looking for love. You might just be really looking at community outreach or even education. All of that stuff could be coming through here. You're going to be busy. I think you're actually very busy right now. Those of you that are retired or you're interested in doing that. If you're bored, get into that outreach energy. Love and friendship wants to knock on the door this month. So just because you're retired, that doesn't mean life stops. It means that you have more freedom. Lean into the freedom, retirees. And then there could also be new friendship and even just mentorship opportunities for you where you could lead others if you're interested. Money looks okay with the Seven of Pentacles. I would love for it to be more an 8, 9, or 10, but this is above what's necessary for stability. Just try not to overspend or overextend. That's all I'm picking up on here. Let's go ahead now and take a look at love and relationships. So we have the scales coming through here. They're in reverse. So something could be out of balance. Something could be a little chaotic, and you're going to bring that into order this month. There could be a Libra coming into your life as well. If we were looking at justice in reverse, it's the power of saying no. Choosing what you want and choosing what you don't want, and not feeling like you have to apologize or over-explain. So seeking balance, finding balance, reestablishing it if it's missing. Let's break it down into 3 categories. We're going to start with existing relationships, then we'll move on to the other sort of relationship statuses. So if you're in a relationship right now, I actually love this and this. You've built something that has the potential to last, and there's a lot of love. The key challenge that I see for all existing relationships is, for some of you, you're just tired. There's too much going on, like overworked at your job. There could be also a recent loss, because this is one of the grieving cards. It does feel like you're moving beyond that loss, but it takes time. And you're on the other side of it. Many of you, you're kind of like almost through it, but give yourself that extra bit of time and self-care, and ask your partner for help if you need it, and vice versa. If you see your partner still needing some time, some space, and some support, however you can support them, that's what I'm picking up on here. This can also be a lack of communication. So because some of you have a lot going on, maybe one of you is busier than the other, there could just be a lack of, hey, how's it going? And checking in with each other. Make sure that there's couple time, date nights, etc. And one of you might just really like time by yourself. So figure out how that is going to factor into a healthy relationship. I think space is good, but I also think communicating when you need support and when you need that sort of me time, that's important, and that's what's missing here in this spread. I would love to see like a Queen of Swords or something like that. So just let them know where you stand. Communication can really kind of appease all of this and get you through the chaotic stuff. If something doesn't smell or seem right, I haven't been spending as much time with the sulfur card. It's coming back here for this in particular. Trust your senses here and talk about it. Say, I just feel like we need to chat about this, or, what's going on here? It seems like you might need some help. Whatever it is, bring it to the forefront and you'll be better for that. I think that there is some strain with finances here where there's too many things on the plate. Something has to give. You guys can kind of figure out what that might be. The main thing that I'm picking up on here is, although there's a lot of love and a lot of strength, both of you are tired, and it feels like if we could get the relationship out of this sense of obligation and more sort of like, I've got your back, you've got my back, like friendship and love, that's key. So rather than tagging each other and saying, did you pick up the laundry? Have you done this? More just check in first and say, how was your day? How are you doing? And then you can get into the tasks and stuff like that, because it does feel like some of this is moving more in a task-oriented place. That's part of a relationship, but I'm also getting a lack of communication. So make sure that it's all types of communication, not just checking up on those sorts of things. Fatigue a little bit here, and being closed-minded. So again, breaking down the walls. That's the key thing here when it comes to reestablishing balance. If you're looking for love this month, could be a Libra coming through. We have a lot of choices here with the Knight of Wands, with the Page of Wands, and we had one other court card here as well. So, the Page of Pentacles. Someone from the past, and a very sort of like, feels like there's two similar energies here in the present and future. My question when I get these many sort of court cards versus just one is, what are you looking for? Fire energy is coming through the most, but there may be better things to focus on first. And I think finding balance in your life when it comes to your schedule and your money, and your health. Get those things factored in first. And then I'm seeing possibly someone that has a youthful vibe. They may be the same age as you, but they have they have more energy. So that's why it's important for you to have sleep and to really be ready to embrace this, because this person comes in with a lot of passion and a lot of interest. So you want to be ready for that. And yes, there's the potential for this to get serious quickly. This is someone who wants to get married. This is someone who's not afraid to say, I love you. That's another reason you want to get everything in your life sort of grounded and sorted out first. Okay, we just looked at those that are in love, looking for love. Those of you that are happily single, everything that I talked about for retirees factors in here as well. You have a chance to meet new people. It could be friendships, it could be business alliances. You may not be looking for love, but it may find you anyway. The main thing that I see challenging you in the moment is the schedule. There's too many things on the plate, and I think that's where you can find the most balance. Getting enough sleep, not overextending yourself. You're doing a good job because people are looking at you as a learned, wise person. They're knocking on the door. They want a lot of your time and energy. So I think it's important to stand up for yourself and say no if you need to. Okay, let's move on to the Destiny card. So Loki is a fun sort of energy in mythology to look at. He is the god of play, as we see here, but he's also mischief. So in reverse, now we're going to go back to the sulfur energy because it has some of the same colors here. If someone's coming through and you feel like they're trying to play you or get under your skin or get the better of you, you're going to see through that, and you don't have to sort of like pay it any attention. Loki will find someone else and kind of work his tricks on them. But more importantly, this is your inner child coming through. And Loki is a lot of fun and is reminding you, when was the last time you had a good time? The main thing you want to do here is understand like moderation, because there's a fine line between maybe like the playful Six of Cups and then getting this into like the devil energy, because Loki he's all over the place, right? He's chaotic. So be mindful of the balance and know your limits when it comes to, partying or extracurricular activities. I want you to have fun, but be mindful of the Lokis in your life as well. Okay, let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into sun, rising, and moon sign messages for you, Aquarius, and then we'll take a look at your final card after that. Sun, actually we got two here. So 2 sun cards. I'll go with the first one and then the volunteer. Rising and moon. All right. Lots of volunteers today. That's always exciting. There's a lot to come through. So the card that I chose was the King of Wands. We got the Emperor coming through that kind of chose himself. So 2 kings, basically. King of Wands has to do, it's like the ultimate, these are the 2 ultimate boss cards in the minor and in the major. So the King of Wands is innovative. He is creative. He is kindling and sort of like trying to feed the flame and that fire there. So if there's something that you want to see move forward, you are the agent of that creative and leadership energy. The Emperor is all about making sure that not only is he the boss, but when it comes to like rights, particularly intellectual property, things of that nature, that you are in charge of that. So this is also partnering energy. We saw so much of it today in the spread. The Lovers and the 10 of Pentacles, all about partnership. Even the 5 of Wands, which is so unusual, but we see 2 people partnering up. So the key to your success this month is to find someone that works just as hard as you do, in love, in work, in anything. And that partnership is divine. It's good. You'll know it when you see it. You won't need me to read for you. Whenever I've met like best friends, and I've been lucky enough to have about 3 in my lifetime, when I've met them at different parts of my life, in different ages, etc., I knew the first time I met these people that I would keep in touch forever. Actually, I'll say 4 because I have one right now as well. So, but I've always known it's just easy. With these people, I've never really had an argument or a difficult day. It's easy breezy and it feels like I've known them forever. So you may have that sense of camaraderie, or you have such a common way of thinking and working that you know you'll be able to get through any disagreements. You may also have 2 opportunities on the plate in front of you, and the universe is saying, that 4 of Swords moment may be short-lived, but you can push through this. I feel like you have the capacity to excel beyond your wildest dreams this month, Aquarius. It's really positive energy coming forth for you, okay? Let's move on to rising sign. Aquarius rising, 9 of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race. Typically, we would see a little snail on this card, but that's fine. We're just going to focus on this one. She's also a very receptive energy here. So there's always a bird, but look at this particular 9 of Pentacles. She's focusing on listening. She's listening to her heart. She's listening to what people are saying and doing. And by taking her time, by doing her homework, she is continuing to succeed. This is a card that shows sustainable growth, sustainable wealth, and the key to the sustainability piece, in other words, it can last, is slow and I don't want to use the word calculated. It's more sort of clear, but there is a little bit of calculation in that, saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I know it's going to help me with this. That clarity is going to be everything. So slow and steady, and we see a really major payoff here. And rising and ascendant, this is all about work. So don't give up and don't rush. It's worth the time that you're putting into this, okay? For personal development, same sort of thing. It's not about how quickly, it's about how well you're doing it. And the 4 of Swords is a bit rushed in the environment. So some of you are just saying, no, I'm not going to rush. Sorry, this is how it's going to be done. Aquarius moon, you got the Page of Cups. Let's look at this card upright just because it's beautiful. We can actually see this particular page looking at the map. There's a little bit of a storm behind him, but he's figuring out how to navigate. Take a moment, reflect, be the calm in the storm. Be the one that is able to see things for all that they have to offer, challenges, opportunities, etc. Take a moment to plan and use your creativity and your heart and your passion and your intuition to infuse that and inform that plan. your passion and your charisma will pull other people in. They are the waves, they are the wind that are creating the movement for the boat. So don't underestimate your ability to push something forward. Pages are powerful. Why, you might ask? Can a page be just as powerful as a king or queen? Well, because they have the ability to be a channel. And so, there's been a lot of pages. We got Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Page of Cups. The only thing missing is Page of Swords. So I would love for you to take your passion and just say it. Kind of like what I do here when I read. It's been the best experience for me as a communicator because I've learned it's not about perfection. It's about accuracy and honesty. So just speak from the heart, speak truthfully. Doesn't have to be perfect elocution or dictation. People just want to get into the energy of what you have to say. And I believe you can surprise even yourself with that this month. Focus now on maybe one last question that you have. Anything that you still need some guidance on? Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. All right. Maybe this is the first challenging card that we've had in a while here, because most of these have been pretty manageable. Five of Swords. This is typically someone who gets a little bit of joy or a little bit of a rise out of pushing your buttons. They're typically not very good at listening and usually not very good at being accountable. If there's someone around you like that, I think it's Loki. It's someone who's playing with you. Don't let them get the better of you. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card really drives it home. So this would be the Loki-like person. These are the people that he's basically energetically feeding off of. It's almost like an energy vampire on some levels, but you know that there's people like the bullies at school and everything, when they tease you, really it's coming from their own insecurities or whatever, but it's just, that's the only way they can derive joy is by kind of like bringing someone down a level. Don't let the bullies get you. Don't let the haters get you. Don't even really pay them any mind if you can. Just shut it down and say, this isn't constructive. Let's talk when you're ready to listen. And that's it. Move in another direction. Usually the Five of Swords is never ready to listen. Don't waste your time. This can be the inner saboteur coming through as well. And so if that Five of Swords is sitting on your shoulder, this is you saying something like, you're not good enough for this. It's not going to happen. It never will happen. Let that go. That's like 5 and 7 of Swords are agents of the devil, and you really just don't want to pay them any mind. The reversal of this is just saying, I recognize the pattern. I'm going to let it go. There's bigger and better things to focus on, and I couldn't get behind that more if I tried. So really embrace that you're worth it this month. I felt it in the solar plexus. I hope you feel it too. And that's everything for this month. If you enjoyed this, please do me a favor. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps quite a bit. It helps the algorithm. It helps people discover it. It lets me know that you appreciated it. So a simple like, and if you've never subscribed, you're brand new, please subscribe. It helps. Thank you. You can also follow me on social media for reminders. This will help you know whenever I post new content or if anything changes in the upload schedule. It's always my full name on all major platforms. There are some imposters out there. The main way to kind of look at them and recognize them is they typically try to message you. I don't do that. They may offer readings and things of that nature. I don't do that. Everything is always free on YouTube, so try to ignore anybody that tries to pretend to be anything other than that. If you need sort of like validation of who's who, like I said just a moment ago, it's always my full name, but you can also find it on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com, or right here on the main channel page. That's everything for this month. If you want to give back, you can do it in an official capacity through Super Stickers, Super Chat, and also through memberships. So I just like to say thanks for that. By the way, if you've never checked out my podcast, it's also available on the podcast tab. And that's all for today. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you soon for the next reading. Take care.